What's going on, guys? This is Mr. Teej66's Movie Reviews. I am Mr. Teej666. Well, it's October, and you know what that means. Horror movies galore. And to kick things off for this month, I decided to do 2003's Freddy vs. Jason. No, I'm not going to do the Friday the 13th remake, because that's the other movie on this disc, because in a word, it's garbage. So, let's move on to Freddy vs. Jason. You know, this movie, I don't even think I can possibly explain how the anticipation for this movie back in 2003. It had been 10 years in the making. At the end of Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday, of course, the famous final shot of when you see Jason's mask on the ground, and then Freddy's hand comes up, his gloved hand with the blades on it, comes up and pulls it down. And since then, fans went nuts. And we finally got it in 2003, and I remember loving this movie when it first came out, and I watched it again, you know, pretty recently. I wasn't sure what I was going to think, and while this movie is not perfect, when it delivers what you want it to deliver, it is freaking awesome. I'm going to go ahead and start with the negatives first, because there is quite a few. The acting is absolutely atrocious from just about everybody, except for Robert Englund, who is, you know, absolutely brilliant as Freddy, sadistic and evil and mean. You know, he is Freddy Krueger forever. Ken Kurtzinger, I can't remember the guy's last name, who plays Jason. I thought he did a pretty good job, too. You know, a lot of people wanted Kane Hodder back from the last couple of Friday the 13th, and he is awesome, no question. But I didn't really feel his loss that much in this movie. It's, you know, it's a very simple part. He just has to look, the guy just has to look menacing and kill people convincingly, and I thought that Ken, whatever his last name is, did a great job with that part. It's a simple part, but he's definitely the biggest Jason we've ever had. He towers over Robert Englund, which gives him an advantage in the daytime scenes, but I'll get to that in a minute. And the guy who plays a character called Freebird, sort of a stoner hippie, not really hippie, stoner type. You know, he's basically Jason Mewes from Jay and Silent Bob, except he's not, but he's basically like him. He's pretty funny, and he has the absolute best line of the movie, which I'll get to in a minute, but he's kind of the only character that I kind of, you know, actually kind of went, aw, that sucks, when, spoiler warning, when he gets killed. But everyone else in this movie is just awful, like, TV show, like, it's teen soap opera level bad. The main girl, Monica Keener, I believe her name is, she is dreadful. She talks like this the whole time, and it's just absolutely atrocious and fake, and it's just, she gets really annoying after a while. Jason Ritter, John Ritter's son, plays her love interest. He's awful too. There's moments where he just has to, like, show extreme emotion, where it's just so fake. It's like, come on, man, let me out of here. Oh, God, it's just awful. What else? The movie takes a long time to get going. Oh, the dialogue. I have to remember the dialogue. Jesus Christ, this has some of the worst dialogue I've ever heard. Lines like, you need to meet a guy, you know, and I know what Will and I had was real, and it's just, oh, God, absolutely terrible. There's also plot holes up the ass. There's a part, the main girl, her backstory is she supposedly saw her father, or, no, the boyfriend, Jason Ritter, supposedly saw Monica Keener, his girlfriend's father, kill her mother, and then they go, well, no, my mother died in a car accident, and it's revealed, spoiler warning, that Freddy Krueger, you know, somehow possessed, like, her father and, like, stabbed him. It's like, well, how the hell would anyone believe you that you were in a car accident? You've got blade, you know, knife wounds all over your body. That doesn't make any fucking sense. And how did Freddy invade his body? Because the plot basically is that, you know, Freddy's been forgotten on Elm Street, so he doesn't have any more power. So in hell, he finds and resurrects Jason Voorhees, who's going to come back, go to Elm Street in Springwood, where, you know, his reign of terror was, and start killing people, and then it's going to, you know, spark rumors that, you know, Freddy's back, and then he'll get his power back, and he can come back and invade people's dreams again. Now, that's a very solid plot. I like that. It's just believable enough that, you know, how you would get these two to interact. But there's still a lot of holes in the story. Like, you know, like, how, as I said, how would he have invaded her, you know, the father's body if he didn't have any power? This was supposed to take place years ago, and it doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of plot holes in this movie. I can mostly overlook them, but the dreadful acting and dialogue, I pretty much can't. Oh, Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child also is in this movie playing a teenager, and boy, she needs to stick to her day job because her lines of dialogue are awful and her delivery are awful. There's one moment where she freaks out and is supposed to be upset, frustrated. It's so fake. She goes, "This is fucking bullshit," It's just, oh, please stop trying to act, which I think she has. I don't think she has to worry about money from her singing career, but ooh, God. It takes a while for anything to really happen. The first 45 minutes are pretty. I don't know if I'd say dull, but if not for the occasional appearance of Jason or Freddy during those interloops, it would be near unwatchable. The characters, as I said, are flat, generic, lifeless types with atrocious dialogue. But thankfully, the final half hour is completely worth the wait. Because the two main villains basically take over this movie. There's a moment where I knew when I saw this movie in the theater that it was on. It was finally time. Jason's invaded the Freebird character's mind. He's walking around, and the kids are running away from Jason, and Jason slams the door down. It's at this psychiatric institute. They run past Freebird, and I love the camera shot. It tilts a little bit on his face, and I knew this is it. This is what we've been waiting for, the battle of the century, and it was beautiful. And the movie plays it completely fair with both characters, because at one point Jason is in Freddy's, is fallen asleep and is in a dream world, and in the dream world, Freddy absolutely rules. But I like the fact that, Freddy tries everything, even in the dream world, to kill Jason, and Jason just keeps coming back, and even Freddy's just sort of damn, I can't kill this motherfucker. The fight scenes are beautiful. Things are falling on top of Jason. He's banging him around like a pinball. Some people hate the fact that there's a pinball sound effect as he's banging around. I say bullshit, because humor like that was always in the Friday the Nightmare on Elm Street films, the later ones. So it's keeping somewhat in spirit. But this movie's really not supposed to be that scary, so I'm okay. It's popcorn entertainment, and so I can accept that. And then when they come out into the real world, and obviously Jason has more of the upper hand. The final 15 minutes of this movie are worth the price of admission. Every time I watch this movie, I'm like, for the first 45, I'm like, oh God, this is bad. Is this going to be as good as I remember? And then the last half hour happens, and it is fucking awesome. When they go into the real world, especially, they're throwing each other around. They're going back 15 feet, they are tearing the shit out of each other, ripping arms off, gouging through the stomach, gouging out eyes. It is just, it makes me giddy every time I see it, because this is exactly what I want. I have a friend, his name is Panic Bedlam, and she was talking about the first Ghost Rider movie with Nicolas Cage, and she basically said that, I got exactly what I wanted. I got a guy with a flaming skull, driving around on a motorcycle. He drives up a building. I got exactly what I wanted. And that's pretty much how I feel about this movie. I got Jason and Freddy ripping the shit out of each other and, going to fucking town. And the last, as I said, the ending of this movie is absolutely worth it. Everything else is pretty bad. Rating-wise, I'd give this movie probably a 7.1. I can't sit there and give it an 8 or a 9, because the dialogue is atrocious and the acting for the most part is just god fucking awful. But that final half hour pretty much redeems this entire film. But yeah, 7.1. This is Mr. T 666, and I will see you next time.